All right, family. You live with the general. You already know what time it is, man. We got some fire today. Yes, indeed, we got some fire today. So you better buckle in because it's gonna be a hell of a ride. Before we get started, make sure you get to the general's Patreon page right there. Click the link right there in the chat, and you're gonna get access to up to 600 exclusive live streams you cannot view nowhere else, family. You see, and so do that and let's get started, family. Now, I had to deal with this. Okay, let me make sure I'm in the house. Let's deal with this because it's a lot of accusations, and you dealing with a true griot. You dealing with a master griot here. You see, and most people should know that by now. There are accusations. There are accusations by a lot of felonious minds that somehow Pan-Africanism was created by some Caucasoids and injected into the black community and that it serves this purpose of deterring us from our true origins, our true purpose, and all of that. And so I wanted to take our family into the hip hop era. You see, and look at it from the essence and let the frequency of all thoughts, because a lot of people came with all type of ideologies and but you can't just inject no goddamn ideology on black people. Either it's vibing, the frequency gotta be there, or they not gonna accept it. You see, they not gonna accept it. So you can't just create some shit and give it to black people. You understand? That's just like country music. You think they could just create, you think the white man, and then it ain't been nothing, especially with no goddamn music, that a white man can create and get it. Because niggas ain't gonna accept, no European music. They not gonna do that. So that's just not going. They couldn't even create nothing on our frequency and vibe. So let's be clear about that. Nah, I'm gonna get off into this as we deal with the golden age of hip hop. See, the golden age of hip hop, and not just hip hop, because I'm gonna deal with not just hip hop. I'm talking about the era, but because hip hop also in that era influenced so many other genres. It was really the golden age. We had a lot of golden ages. People could talk about the Harlem Renaissance, and you know what I'm saying. But this was particular because it touched so many genres, and even the movies, R&B, hip hop was pretty much linked. You see, in that frequency. You see what I'm saying? It was a consciousness, that our people was really trying to elevate. You see, on some we kings and queens, we gods and goddesses. You see what I'm saying? Some shit that ain't never been said before. You see, let's just deal with that. See, we got to look at what our people was saying that was right. Because you got to watch these slick niggas with their forked tongue. They gonna come out and they gonna tell you about what they think was wrong. What motherfucker tell us something about what you think was right. Because you can't serve a motherfucker all something that's wrong. You see what I'm saying? You got to be able to serve a motherfucker a balance of some shit. You see, even if you intend to lead them, I mean, you can't come with all wrong. So talk about something, but you don't even hear niggas talk about nothing that was right. Now, when they heard black people talk about uplifting the black woman, you don't hear them niggas. And see, let me tell y'all something. Let me just be straight up, because these niggas can't bang with me. And I'm just going to be 100. when you talk, and I'm gonna call names because they call Pan-Africanism. So I don't have no problem saying foundational Black American. I don't have no problem saying that. That's Christianity. When you look at the dominant cultural expression of foundational Black Americans, let's be real. Can I be real with y'all? It's Christianity. It's not no indigenous nothing, because that shit is just today. You see what I'm saying? You this today, okay? Even if you had some of our peoples even back then say they was, they had some Indian in them or this, that, and the third, that wasn't the dominant expression across the reality. You had people mention it here and there, but they was living like niggas. I ain't never seen no motherfucker put no moccasins on or no goddamn feathers in their ears. I didn't see that. Okay, they live like, niggas. You feel me? So let's be 100. And so the dominant expression of FBA is Christianity. I just want to be clear about that. Okay, well, listen, we talking about how is Christianity. Yeah, it's some Muslims now. It's some Muslim, but them perpetrators. Okay, them perpetrators. The dominant culture from day one of our enslavement, I'm not talking about previous, because you're talking about Americanism. Islam was as far as they're concerned, was a cult. You see, the Moorish science, that's small. The Nation of Islam, that's small compared to how many Black people is Christians. Okay, so the dominant religion, it still ain't but about 2 million Muslims in the United States as a whole. So it's about 2 million Muslims in the United States as a whole. And so, okay, so however many Blacks, so compared to how many Black peoples is Christians, you see what I'm saying? The dominant expression, when you was growing up, you was going to church, nigga. That's where you was going. You were not going to the mosque. Yeah, the mosque came later, but the mosque is something different. Okay, because you still going to the east. You going to the east. When you hear these niggas talking about foundational Black American, they talking about here. Something that, even though Christianity is not from here, and that's the hypocrisy of it. You see what I'm saying? They talking about, Martin Luther King. And so when Martin Luther King and all the rest of them and it was doing their thing, the Nation of Islam, which is a cult, you understand what I'm saying? Even there, you're not dealing with no orthodox Muslim. You dealing with some occult. You see what I'm saying? Let's just be real about that. So the dominant expression is Christianity. Even though you can probably find niggas today of damn near, you probably can find a motherfucking FBA into goddamn Wiccan. You understand what I'm saying? You can't tell a motherfucker they can't practice. So they could be probably a Wiccan. They could be any goddamn thing. Motherfucker be a Mormon, be any motherfucking thing. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm just, addressing that. What had the most influence on what they call foundational Black America is the church. Okay, let's just be clear about that. And so now, you see, so when we start talking about the golden age of hip hop, you see what I'm saying? When you had, the brothers and sisters start wearing African medallions. You see, before that, them niggas was poverty rappers. Poverty rappers. That's all them niggas was, poverty rappers. Yeah, they talk a little this, that, but they was, it's like that, what, and that's the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And then, don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. Every goddamn rap nigga was about a nigga on the edge, poverty rap, trying to come up. You see what I'm saying? Them niggas was in the Then came the conscious rap where like, nigga, we gods. You ain't never heard no Christian niggas talk about they know gods and goddesses. You see what I'm saying? There was something that changed the frequency in our people. You see what I'm saying? And at that time, you talking about, when you couldn't really get nobody to connect to no Africa. That was the last place a nigga wanted to connect to, because they interpretation of what Africa was some goddamn jigaboo shit. So you didn't have no niggas trying to connect to no Africa. So it was that information that Dr. Ben and Dr. John Henry Clark, you understand, and putting on the underground influenced a lot of the way that hip hop was going through that golden age. That was the best part of hip hop. No other when niggas was African consciousness was the very best era of hip hop. That's just a fact. No other, not Christianity, none of that shit. Before the conscious niggas was poverty rap. Yeah, there was some niggas out there rapping about getting money, but the cities was fucked up. You see what I'm saying? Wasn't nobody out. Ronald Reagan, no niggas was rapping poverty raps. Nigga, these cities. So with hip hop, matter of fact. But anyway, I'm gonna get into that on the other video. You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, why did they take the African consciousness out of the hip hop? If it was doing a service for white people, why did they take it out? Because they never created it. They didn't expect that, long as niggas was rapping that disco shit, you understand what I'm saying? Good time was that. Hip hop. Long as you rapping some shit like that, you understand what I'm saying? And you rapping that poverty rap shit, you understand what I'm saying? You cool. You see, and but soon as that, you's a goddess, and at what point in time, because you FBA niggas always talking this shit, at what point in time before the African consciousness was y'all niggas uplifting the black woman? Explain this shit to me. I'm talking about across the board. Explain, man, the African consciousness part of hip hop even drove a lot of West Coast niggas who was gangsters in the goddamn consciousness. And we're gonna talk about that. Many of them niggas was rocking the African medallions, DOC. Even goddamn Too Short had to go a little bit consciousness. That motherfucker came with the ghetto. You understand? Other than that nigga was a bitch. You understand what I'm saying? He didn't have who drove them niggas that way. It was the African consciousness. And so when they seen where it was going, you see what I'm saying? When they saw where it was going, they shut that shit down and they brought in gangster rap. So when niggas really want to talk about it, you got the African consciousness, which is the golden age of hip hop. That's where niggas was wearing African medallions all over the place. Now you also had the 5%ers. They was in that too, but that's East. You talking about coming up out the East. They had this Eastern philosophy. It was not from over here, nigga. It was from the motherland. You see, and everybody was not only had it affected the youth, it had affected our mothers. And for matter of fact, it affected our grandmothers and grandfathers. Even our grandmothers and grandfathers was walking around with African medallions. They saw a sense of pride. You had your chance, nigga. If FBA was all that y'all niggas say it was, tell me, why couldn't y'all pop something off that was social? This was a social movement. You motherfuckers ain't never popped no social movement off at all. In hip hop, that's primarily the only social movement we ever had in hip hop. So you niggas came in, and I'm saying FBA into this concept. Not saying that Black Americans didn't have nothing to do with it, but when we connected to our motherland and we connected to the source of our greatness, you're going to cut yourself off from Kemet and Kush, and you're going to cut yourself off from the great West African cultures, and you're going to cut yourself, and then you're going to trap yourself in a box, nigga, where you start with the slave boat, and nigga, and this, that, and the third. Y'all ain't never, when you talk about just pure, where the nigga then disconnected himself from the motherland. Y'all, the best y'all niggas could produce was gangster rap. That's pure, nigga. FBA without a connection to the motherland, and all y'all niggas did was rap. And matter of fact, is the domino that got these niggas where they at today on the pure drill shit. Come out of that shit when y'all disconnected from the motherland. Not some of the West Coast rappers was still trying to put a message in there, but that was the effect from the African conscious community. Okay, it wasn't. That was the effect of the West of the African conscious community. Nah, so when they took that out, here come Jerry Keller and all these white boys bringing his kill, shoot them up shit, and to bring. And matter of fact, we're gonna talk about this in depth. So I mean, we laying it out. We laying it out. You niggas come after the war, nigga. We was on the battlefields, nigga. When niggas was out here dropping, trying to bring a message, which you niggas is not even giving credit to, which makes y'all niggas look very suspect that y'all talking about. We was out here when y'all niggas didn't even exist. You niggas was probably out here either smoking or selling the shit. A lot of you niggas. Some of you wasn't even born, but when it was time to be on the battlefield, you niggas wasn't nowhere. You didn't even exist. But we was out here trying to say, no, this is the black goddess. This the black one. Uplift the black child, the holy black family, reaching for God, a divinity, showing that we ain't just gonna pray, nigga. We is God, nigga. We brought a whole different dynamic in the African consciousness. You niggas is weak. You are some after the fact niggas that's trying to destroy a message that you cannot destroy. And the fact that you do not give credit when the fact we was out here trying to save our families and our brothers and sisters and shit, and y'all seen the energy that we was, ain't no white man ever did no shit like that. Okay, and the shit y'all, that's why y'all doing this smoke and mirrors and y'all pointing across. Look, they trying to, no, nigga, we was right here, nigga. This where we was fighting, right here on these battlefields right here in America. Remember that shit. Let me get moving, family. We got a lot more to drop. We got a lot more to drop. I ain't gonna get out there and where we at? I don't know what they talking about. I ain't got no time to. But anyway, we got some more videos, family, and y'all stay tuned. Make sure y'all click the link at the top of the chat. Get over there to Patreon. Get that work. Support the general. I'll be right back. Black Power.